So this is Explode layout, and I'm going to explain how to switch it on. It takes about 10 seconds. First of all, you plug the power in and that gets the trains running. Then you go over here, remove this piece of tarpaulin covered detail, and underneath is a switch, and you switch the lights on, which does the campfires. And he also puts a light on in the house. And then finally, turn the sound on. And that can sit behind the layout or under the layout, and that adds some ambient gunfire. Now what I want to do as well, just quieten that down, is just explain some of the little cameos and things that are happening on this layout. It's called Explode because of course of the exploded pug, but also the exploded buildings that are around the layout in various places. One fairly unusual and almost incongruous part of the model is this little rowing boat. And it's regular people in there, French people, that are trying to escape the action. That's the way I saw it. And it was a request from the person who I'm building the model for. It's got an oar in the water, as though there's a little bit of trouble as they've tried to escape too quickly. So I didn't want it just normal. And at the same time I've added this little fishing boat in. This guy just doesn't care, he's just fishing. It kind of contrasts with the action of the layout and everything else that is going on. The layout is set in 2016, and that was because they stopped using the steering gear on these Mark I tanks in November 2016. So I've set it in October, therefore most of the tanks haven't got the steering gear on, but this one still has, just for a bit of variation. There are of course some horses on the layout. I wanted to represent those. We've got some rubbish in the river, and that includes a bit of steering gear from the tank, an old bicycle, and some other metallic objects. There was a request for soldiers and bikes, so here they are on the layout in various places, and I've also put soldiers inside some of the models. They're fairly hard to spot. And of course the lights on this layout are one tiny little light in a house. There is actually a person in there. It's quite hard to spot them, but they're in there. Plus of course the flicker campfires. I've now added a little bit of cotton wool just to help it look as if they're on fire, even if the LEDs went out. But some of the rubble is actually scout bricks, and the rest of it is just general rubble. This layout is fully analog. It's got two SS2A shuttle controllers, which cost just around about £25 each in 2019 prices. And they shuttle the engines back and forth. It's a fairly simple layout with very little operational value. So I wanted movement, but I didn't want to operate it and drive it. That would get boring pretty quick. The total cost for this layout was £425. Most of that, of course, is in the Airfix models. The tanks cost a few quid each, and the buildings certainly do. And there's 5 of each of those. The locomotives cost about £60, £25 for each locomotive, and then there's the wagons as well. There's other pug kits and all the paints and resins and the wood, and it all mounts up. Even the sound unit, that was £25, including the SD card, micro SD. So there you have it. That's a brief background to Explode. There are a series of videos which of course explain the build, which are before this video. But I hope you like watching this series, because this is a fairly straightforward and simple layout in many ways, in that it's small, and that makes it fairly quick and easy to do. But the emphasis therefore has to be in the modelling, and I've tried to get modelling detail into it. Oh, and there's one other thing. Of course, a lone sunflower, which represents life coming back to this devastated World War I region in France. So there you go, a little bit of artistic content too. Let's explode loud.